Wait, what? Can yogurt really help prevent type 2 diabetes? My newsfeed was all of a sudden flooded by articles that the FDA, the US Food and Drug Administration, has allowed dairy companies to say that their products reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Reading this, I was thinking to myself, this is wild. What is going on? I mean, it's yogurt. Can it really help prevent type 2 diabetes? So of course I dug in, and in this video, I'll be sharing what I found. I'll be sharing why we're seeing this claim now, what the research say, and how to choose the right yogurt. What just happened, and just being March 1st, 2024, is that the FDA announced that they'll permit dairy companies to say that eating yogurt regularly, and regularly is a minimum of 2 cups or 3 servings per week, may reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Dairy companies cannot say it will prevent type 2 diabetes. They can only say it may prevent type 2 diabetes. And that's because the FDA does not consider this to be based on firm clinical evidence. In fact, they're only allowed to say this based on what is called limited scientific evidence. It's not like the good folks at the FDA woke up March 1st and decided that, hey, yogurt is a good thing. This came about because Danone, the large dairy manufacturer, filed a petition with the FDA back in 2018. The people at Danone obviously want to sell more yogurt, and they feel that a claim like this could help them do so. But what's really interesting is that they base this claim on 32 studies. So it clearly sounds like there's something there, and that's also why the FDA has allowed them to use this claim. But I guess in this case, it's more of a where there's a lot of smoke, there's probably fire, rather than actually being able to see the flames. And it's not the first time that the FDA has allowed something like this. In the past, for example, they have allowed a claim for whole grains that it could potentially limit the risk of diabetes. Anyway, the question was, can it help prevent type 2 diabetes? So let's look at some of the facts. The study that prompted Danone to make the petition back in 2018 concluded, higher intake of yogurt is associated with a reduced risk of type 2 diabetes, whereas other dairy foods and consumption of total dairy are not appreciable associated with incidence of type 2 diabetes. But there was a need for more studies. Okay, that sounds like a good start. In the petition, Danone notes that 83% of the studies included, either directly or suggestive, support the claim that yogurt can reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. And for reference, only 17% of the studies submitted supported the claim for the whole grain. So I guess 83% sounds pretty solid. What I also found interesting is that the FDA focused quite a bit on how much yogurt you'd have to consume for there to be a potential benefit. And the agency found, based on not a lot of studies though, but what they found is that you'd have to eat a minimum of 2 cups or 3 servings per week for there to be a potential benefit. So will yogurt prevent type 2 diabetes, and what precautions should you take when choosing your yogurt? No, I don't think any of the studies or the FDA claim shows that yogurt can help prevent type 2 diabetes. But if included appropriately in your diet, it might help reduce the risk of you developing type 2 diabetes. To quote Dr. Marianne Nestle, who was interviewed about this, to expect yogurt on its own to be causally associated with diabetes prevention makes no sense out of the context of the diet as a whole. It seems to me that the main concern a lot of people have about just slapping this claim on any yogurt is that a lot of yogurts are actually more like desserts in the sense that they have a lot of added sugars. And if you're watching your blood sugars and making meaningful changes to your diet to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes, you don't want to be eating a lot of these foods that have excessive amount of added sugar. Danone's argument is that the research showed that despite how much sugar is added, there's still a benefit. Well, I think Danone is trying to sell yogurt. But I love yogurt, and there are actually a lot of great options if you want to choose a yogurt that does not have a lot of added sugar. Currently, this is my favorite type of yogurt. It's the Chobani Zero Sugar. What I really like about this, so I like the flavor. And you can see here, so it's 60 calories. Don't really care about that in this context. But total carbs is only 5 grams. And then if we go over here, the total added sugars, 0. See, I'm a fan of that. You do not have to choose that yogurt, that's just my favorite, but I would encourage you to choose a yogurt with limited added sugars. Simply look at the nutrition label, look at the carbohydrates, and here you can see the added sugars. Dairy-based yogurt is milk-based, so it will always have some level of carbohydrates, and that's okay. So what do you think? Will you be adding more dairy to your diet? If you've seen your blood sugars or maybe even your A1C start to creep up, or maybe you just want to be proactive in managing your blood sugars, check out this playlist. Here I have a lot of videos with great tips on how to lower your blood sugars. Also, if you want to see more videos from me, remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That way you'll be informed whenever I post new content and you'll never miss a thing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.